Hello and welcome. Chris from Missouri here, bringing you another video about vintage baseball cards. In this video, I'm going to show you a dozen or so cards. I'm going to show you a dozen or so cards, beautiful cards of some stuff I'm collecting right now in my card collecting slowdown, maybe. But before I do that, and before I show you these cards, I want to tell you a quick story. But I want to say congratulations to my friend of Rob Cash Cards. He just went over 1,000 subscribers, and man, he's got a really good channel, and he's even a better guy than his channel is good. And he and I rib each other hard, that kind of stuff. But anyway, if you don't watch his channel, get over there and take a look at it. Now, he wanted us to do a VR, and this is not going to be a VR. This is just I'm just not going to do it, Rob. But he wanted us to show some cards of weird or your favorite batting stances. But in that, he wanted us to shout out 3 channels, which I love doing that. And he wants us to do it to give some of those channels kind of a kickstart, because we all got that from somebody somewhere sometime if you're doing a video. Now, this isn't Rob's channel, this is my channel, so I'm going to break the rules, and I'm going to give 2 shout outs to 2 big channels. And there's a reason I'm doing that. I'm giving a shout out to Ty of Chasing Cardboard and to Greg of Midlife Cards. Now, neither one of them need any more subscribers. They don't need any more friends. And why in the world am I giving a shout out to them? Well, it's because of the way I feel when I talk to them, and actually how I felt leaving a card show that I met Ty personally at in Kansas City the other day. And the reason is this. For some reason, I had some preconceived notions of those two and didn't think we had anything in common. Matter of fact, I'd watched Bench Clear Media where Ty was on, and just we didn't collect alike, right? And I thought maybe that was it, but I don't think so. I think in my head he was too good to be true. Here he's, it looks like he's a super dad, he's a super husband, he's a super nice guy, godly man, that kind of stuff. And here, same way with Greg Midlife Cards. I watched his channel, watched him spit out these numbers, and he used to do these videos that had some numbers on it, and I thought he was just regurgitating stuff that he got off the computer. And I remember watching his channel for the second or third time, trying to give it a like, and I didn't like it. I don't think I liked him, and I actually unsubscribed to him, and I was having a chat with Theo of Clemente Collector. And he goes, "Oh no," he says, "You're missing it. You're missing it. Greg's a really good guy, and he does that research himself, and he's, and I am so glad I had that conversation, because I have watched Greg's channel grow and his card collection grow. And this is weird. I don't know why. And when I left the Kansas City card show that I shook Ty's hand at and got to visit with him, I remember coming home with my friend Tom and saying, man, I didn't feel very good, because I had these hidden things inside of me that, I don't collect like those guys, so I don't want to listen to those guys. I'm not going to learn anything from those guys. And, they're just doing stuff for this or that. And I couldn't have been so wrong. I was more wrong. And I know I'm old enough now, mature enough now to admit when I was wrong. And I hate it. And so don't let anybody in any conversation tell you who or not to like. You do that on your own. Now, you might have a friend that you trust, and he says, I don't like that channel, but you may be missing out. You may be missing out if you let someone or let these things dictate what you watch, what you like, and what you collect. This is a hobby, and somebody might be doing it different than you. Pay attention to it. You don't have to change your ways. You don't have to do it how they do it. And if you're watching me do a video and you see what I'm collecting, I'm not telling you this is the way. This is the only way. This is the best way you should do it. There's 1,000 ways to skin a cat, right? You've heard that? Well, there's 1,000 ways to collect. My way is the best for me right now. I might do it and tweak it by being around other people, which I have. But gosh, I am glad to say that I'm friends with Ty and I'm friends with Greg. And I am so glad I gave their channels a second chance. Matter of fact, I don't think there's a better production channel than Chasing Cardboard. That thing looks like a TV show. They got the best face man. I would have Ty, Ty being the front man of he could do it on TV. And Greg is a big goofball. But his channel, I believe, is the best at gathering other goofballs in the hobby, other friends, and I don't think they get any better than that. So shout out to them. Now, that was a long way to get to show you some cards, but how I'm going about my collecting right now is I picked up some big cards in January in Dallas. Then we go to Strongsville, and I picked up a big card in Strongsville. So I want to kind of do things on the down low and not spend so much money, and I can have fun doing it. And what I did, we're going to be doing Showcase Showdown, Mike and I, on Baseball Collectors Channel. That's a plug right there, right? And I know that 1980 is going to be on the wheel, the cards 1980. And we're going to do it a little bit different. We used to just do player runs. This season coming up, we're going to do year runs. And I don't want to be giving away all the secrets, but I do know that one of those years is 1980. And I looked at my Hall of Famers in 1980, and it suffered by comparison to any other year that I had, but I'm working on it. But that made me think a little bit. 80 is 45 years old. There's some cards that I used to have in complete sets, but I kind of want them in slabs now. So let me just skip ahead and show you some cards. I'm going after some 1983 stuff. All the Hall of Famers in 83. No, they are not on the list. But when you look back at some of the Hall of Famers that were in that. And if you're close to my age, some of these are incredible. Here's a guy with a weird batting stance. Rob, Pete Rose card's in there. Look how beautiful that card is. You got guys like Nolan Ryan. And what's neat about some of these cards, Reggie Jackson, all those Hall of Famers with their stats on the back, look how many years that is. You got guys like George Brett. Now these cards can be picked up for not a ton of money at shows and on eBay. And matter of fact, I have some cards getting sent back today from SGC that I'm excited to show you sometime. But look at all these Hall of Famers. Mike Schmidt, Tom Seaver, Johnny Bench, youngest one so far, Gary Carter, Joe Morgan, Steve Carlton, on and on and on. Phil Necro, all older Hall of Famers. Gosh, Fergie Jenkins is still around. Oh no, this is Tony Perez. Tony Perez. And how about Carl Yastrzemski? Now those cards can be had pretty inexpensive, and I'm trying to get all the Hall of Famers in that set. Base cards. I'm not going after stuff like this George Brett, but I'm going after the base cards of these guys and getting all the Hall of Famers. I'm excited to do it that way. And you know, this way I can save a little bit of money, but I'm still picking up some really nice stuff. When I get the 83s, I'm going to go after the 84s and keep working my way up. I don't know. I did a video on what is vintage, and I had a ton of responses. The only one response that was wrong was John Mangini's. Everybody else had a good response. Just kidding, John. But, man, if I don't know how to sum this thing up because I'm showing cards and I'm talking about two guys, but again, bringing it back the other way, if it wasn't for getting a second chance, I don't think I would be friends, maybe, or at least near as good friends with Greg of Midlife Cards. I consider him a really good friend, and Ty, I hate myself for having preconceived notions before I even gave somebody a chance. Now, to me, that's silly because this is baseball cards. You're not going to like everybody. You're not going to like everybody's channel. But make sure it's you that makes that decision. Make sure somebody like Chris from Missouri isn't putting something accidentally in your head to make you not like somebody. Now, again, congratulations, Rob. And shout outs to the two big channels. And guys, remember, this is just a hobby. Collect what you like.